On Christmas Eve, a millionaire single dad discovered an incredible hidden truth while helping a veteran. Jack sat in his grand living room, surrounded by the twinkling lights of his opulent tree, yet the warmth of the season felt miles away. The gifts piled high beneath the branches, drones, gaming consoles, designer clothes looked spectacular, but they offered no comfort. He wrapped his fingers tightly around a glass of expensive whiskey, feeling the familiar weight of loneliness pressing down on him. How could this be Christmas? It felt like just another night, he thought, heart heavy and restless. As he stood up to check on the last-minute details for the extravagant party he thought would fulfill his children's holiday dreams, a bright flash of guilt washed over him. Jack's phone buzzed with messages from friends asking for last-minute RSVPs. He de-invited everyone, wanting to drown out the silence with laughter and cheer. But deep down, he feared that laughter would only echo in the vast emptiness of his heart. With time running out, Jack rushed outside to finish decorating the entrance when he saw a figure on the corner of the street. An old man, hunched over with a tattered winter coat, was handing out flyers. Jack squinted, reading support homeless veterans. Something stirred inside him. He felt an odd tug of responsibility. Maybe today, he could give more than possessions. Maybe he could provide a moment of connection. As he neared the stranger, he saw the man's lined face, a mosaic of hardships and hope. "I'm Frank," the man said, eyes brightening as Jack approached. They talked. Jack listened to Frank's heartfelt tales of sacrifice and struggle. Each word was like a thread unraveling the tapestry of Jack's insular world. For the first time, he realized the depth of suffering around him, hidden behind the facades of wealth and privilege. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Frank invited Jack to a community event that night to help distribute food and gifts to families in need. Jack hesitated, caught in a storm of emotions. He thought of his kids, safe and comfortable, while others endured cold nights and empty stomachs. Could he really step into their world? Despite his anxiety, Jack felt an inexplicable pull toward service, a seed of purpose brewing amidst the chaos of his inner turmoil. When he arrived at the event, the vibrant atmosphere was charged with hope and warmth. He was enveloped by laughter, but also by the sharp reality of families struggling yet smiling through it all. Conversations floated around him, stories of survival mingling with sighs of uncertainty. Children, clutching worn teddy bears and old action figures, still found joy in this shared experience. Jack felt overwhelmed, burdened with a sense of guilt yet yearning for connection. And then, amidst the crowd's chatter, a familiar name caught in Frank's tale sent a shock through Jack. "I served with your father in the jungles of Vietnam." He was a true hero. The weight of recognition hit Jack like a wave crashing over him. His father's legacy was not simply a family name but a bond with this man he barely knew. Questions swirled in his mind. Could Frank be the missing piece that bridged the gap between him and the legacy his father left behind? Tonight was his chance to forge a new path. Could he embrace the community, transform his loneliness into understanding, and perhaps rebuild the connections that mattered? As the night continued, Jack felt the compelling pull to rise beyond his affluence, to seize this moment of purpose. Would he find the courage to step away from the gilded cage he had built for himself? Only time would tell, as hope flickered in the air, urging him to explore the depths of true giving. Jack shifted uncomfortably in the bustling community center, the buzz of voices mingling with the fragrance of warm food and the crispness of pine from the small Christmas tree in the corner. The joy around him felt almost surreal. Smiles bloomed on the faces of families squeezing into the makeshift dining area, glowing with simple happiness that contrasted starkly with his own internal darkness. He glanced at Frank, who was now surrounded by a group of children. The old veteran told stories, his voice a soothing balm in the chaotic environment. The kids leaned in, their eyes wide, hanging on to every word. Jack marveled at the way Frank connected with them, effortlessly breaking through barriers that adulthood often erected. Jack couldn't help but reflect on his own kids. He thought of the laughter they'd share tonight, the games they'd play, and the endless wrapping paper strewn across the floor in their excitement. But at that moment, he realized nothing about their Christmas had stirred his heart like this gathering of strangers, reminding him what true community felt like. With a deep breath, Jack approached Frank. "I want to help," he said, his voice breaking slightly. "What can I do?" Frank's brow furrowed, and a glint of surprise crossed his eyes. "You're willing to lend a hand? We've got a lot to do, but every bit counts." In that instant, Jack saw the flicker of something hope. Perhaps. It felt refreshing, like a cool breeze on a hot summer day. Jack joined Frank and the others, helping package food and gifts, each item he handled feeling like an anchor to the world he had been missing. Hours passed in a whirl, and Jack found himself chuckling at the jokes flung across the room. He played games with kids, distributing small toys. Each smile in return struck him like a beam of light cutting through his previous shadows. He was no longer just a wealthy businessman, he was a part of something bigger. Just as the event started to wind down, a little girl approached him, her pigtails bouncing as she grinned up at him. "Mister, can you help me find my brother?" He went to look for more candy. Her earnest eyes were a mirror of innocence. Jack knelt down to her level. "Do you know where he went?" he asked, feeling an unusual sense of purpose rising within him. "Over by the tree," she declared, pointing with conviction. With determination, Jack stood up, taking the girl gently by the hand. "Let us find him." As they navigated through the crowd, Jack noticed a subtle shift within himself, a blend of responsibility and excitement unwinding his heart. He was present, engaging, and actually caring about something other than his own wealth. Finally, they spotted the boy near the tree, eyes wide as he examined a box of candy canes. The reunion was sweet, and the girl's laughter echoed, ringing in Jack's ears. In that instant, a revelation struck him. This was the joy he craved. And just as he was savoring this moment, a familiar face emerged from the crowd. It was his ex-wife, Sarah, surprised but smiling, her warm eyes meeting his. Jack felt a rush of emotions, memories flooding back of happier times when they had both shared these life-affirming moments. "Jack," she called out, a hint of confusion wrinkling her brow. "What are you doing here?" He opened his mouth, ready to explain everything, the sense of belonging he'd discovered, how he was trying to do better, to honor their children and his father. But all that came out was a shaky breath, and he found that he didn't need words. For the first time in years, Jack felt the flicker of connection with not just the community, but with the person who had once been his other half. Would this Christmas bring about a transformation for both of them and their family? As Sarah moved closer, Jack's heart raced with uncertainty and creeping hope. Could this moment lead to healing, or would the past come rushing back to haunt them? In that instant, everything seemed possible again. But the real question lay ahead: what would they decide, together? Sarah paused a few feet away, her presence a mixture of surprise and warmth. Jack could see the spark in her eyes, a fleeting memory of shared holidays and laughter echoing through the years they had spent together. It was like a soft light pulling him out of the darkness he'd been swimming in for so long. The community center, though bustling and vibrant, seemed to fade away as he focused solely on her. "Jack," she said again, stepping over to him, her gaze searching. "I didn't know you were here. It's nice to see you." Her casual tone was comforting, but it felt loaded with unspoken questions. Jack forced a smile, battling the whirlwind of emotions churning inside him. "I just wanted to help. I've been thinking a lot, I guess." The honesty that leapt from him startled even himself. He was supposed to be the strong one, the one who had everything figured out. But here, in this moment, surrounded by warmth and laughter, all he felt was vulnerability. She shifted her weight, her fingers fidgeting with the edges of her sweater. "It's good to see you helping. The kids really need that." There was an emphasis on the word kids that made his heart clench. "Yeah, he replied, swallowing down the regret that threatened to bubble up. I've missed so much. I didn't realize how much I needed this until tonight. The moment stretched between them, thick with the weight of everything left unsaid. He could hardly believe that after all the hurt, the fights, the separation, here they were, standing in a community center, and for once, the past didn't seem to overshadow the present. Do you want to grab some coffee? Jack suggested, hoping to keep the connection alive, to shed the barrier between them. Right now, this feels different. Good. She hesitated, her eyes flickering with uncertainty, just as they had in the past when decisions felt monumental. I guess a little coffee could be nice. Jack turned slightly, feeling a mix of anticipation and anxiety. The little girl he had just helped wandered nearby, still clutching her brother's hand and pointing at the candy canes excitedly. He wished they could bottle this happiness, but he knew the reality waiting beyond these walls would come crashing back soon. As they walked toward the makeshift refreshment table, the environment buzzed around them. Frank was still spinning tales, laughter erupting in contagious waves. Jack glanced back at him, noticing how the old man caught his eye and gave a slight nod, an understanding passing silently between them. How's everything been, with work and the kids? Sarah asked, breaking the fragile spell. It was a simple question, but it struck hard. Busy, he admitted, rubbing the back of his neck. It feels empty. Chasing money doesn't mean as much without family to share it with. He dared to glance at her, measuring her response. Her expression softened, and for the first time in ages, he sensed an opening. You could have called, she said softly. I know, Jack sighed, frustration and remorse sparking in his chest. I didn't know how. The honesty hung between them, fragile yet somehow strong. He could see her starting to relax, maybe hoping that this encounter could lead somewhere good. Maybe, just maybe, they could rediscover each other again amidst the chaos. As they finally reached the table, a deep breath grounded him, hoping this rare moment could translate into something more meaningful. The buzz of the gathering faded, replaced by the rhythm of their newfound conversation, but just as sparks of possibility ignited, a loud crash echoed from the back of the community center, instantly redirecting their attention. Jack turned just in time to see a table of food tipped over, the contents spilling out like an explosion of chaos. A sharp gasp escaped his lips as the jovial atmosphere shifted, fear rippling through the crowd. What just happened? He asked, instinctively wanting to protect his children, not knowing if they were still in the building. Sarah's eyes widened in surprise, but then her expression changed to one of determination. Let's check it out. Jack nodded, adrenaline coursing through him. Together, they burst through the crowd, every heartbeat driving them closer to the truth. What chaos awaited them, and how would they navigate it together? As they rushed forward, he felt a flutter of hope battling against the uncertainty, knowing this Christmas Eve was far from over. What lay ahead needed their courage, and it was time to find out if they could face it as a team. Would their bond withstand the pressure, or would the past crash back in, tearing them apart once more? Distant clamor filled the air as Jack and Sarah navigated through the frantic crowd. A mix of concern and curiosity washed over faces, each expression tight with worry. The laughter that had filled the community center only moments ago felt like a distant memory, replaced with tension. Jack's heart raced as he spotted children peering wide-eyed from behind their parents, instinctively searching for comfort. There it was, the table. Utensils, colorful napkins, and platters of cookies lay strewn across the floor, a vibrant mess that only hinted at the amount of joy they had contained. But now, it created a chaotic scene that left parents scrambling to console their kids. Jack felt a protective instinct surge within him. We need to make sure everyone's okay, he said, his voice firm. Right, Sarah replied, her eyes scanning the area. I'll check over there. She broke off towards a cluster of kids who had huddled together, fear evident on their small faces. Jack pushed through the throng, his gaze falling on the little boy who had been nearby when the table toppled. The child sat on the floor, trembling, and Jack knelt beside him, instincts kicking in. Hey there, Jack said softly, attempting to read the boy's expression. "Are you hurt?" Big brown eyes blinked up at him, glistening with unshed tears. "No, just scared," he managed to whisper, a quiver in his voice. Jack felt his heart squeeze. "It's all right. We've all got each other here, right?" The boy nodded, a timid smile breaking through the fear. Encouragingly, Jack ruffled the boy's hair and glanced for Sarah. She had successfully drawn the kids away from the noise, her warmth acting as a shield against the shock of the moment. Just then, a commotion further back caught his attention. A local volunteer named Greg emerged from the chaos, his face red and flustered. "Someone accidentally bumped the table while trying to grab a plate," he explained, breathlessly. "We'll clean this up in no time, but we need to calm these kids down first." Before Jack could respond, he felt a hand on his shoulder. It was Sarah, having returned, but her expression had shifted. "Jack, let's get everyone together," she urged, determination shining in her eyes. "They could use a little holiday spirit right now. Like a mini concert," Jack suggested, an idea sparking in his mind. "We could tell some stories, maybe sing a Christmas song." Sarah's face lit up. "Exactly. Bring back the fun. Let us go for it." They rallied throughout the space, gathering kids and parents alike. Jack shared funny holiday tales from his own childhood while Sarah captivated the younger kids with classic Christmas songs. The laughter slowly replaced the worried faces, inching back the tension that had enveloped the room. As they continued their efforts, Jack marveled at how seamlessly they fell into this rhythm again. It felt easy, as if the years apart had melted away. Each shared glance was a spark, igniting feelings he thought were buried forever. Then, as the gathering began to hum with laughter and excitement, Jack caught sight of Sarah's smile. It was genuine, bright, the kind that made everything else fade away. He wondered if just maybe they were making more than just a connection tonight. But before he could embrace the thought, a muffled sob caught his attention. He turned to find a girl peeking out from behind a curtain, tears rolling down her cheeks. "My stuffed bunny is under the table," she whined. "Don't worry. We'll find it." Jack jumped to his feet, rushing towards the area where the panic had erupted earlier, Sarah right on his heels. As they approached the mess once more, Jack's chest tightened with the hope of resolution swirling in his thoughts. Perhaps this was the moment they needed to truly reconnect, to not only face the past, but to build something new. But as they cleared the debris, an unexpected sound caught his ear, an unmistakable rattling beneath the overturned table. Jack paused, heart pounding in his ears. What could it be? Sarah's hand on his arm brought him back. "What is it?" she asked, confusion mingling with curiosity. He crouched low, reaching into the shadows, and felt something hard and unfamiliar. As his fingers wrapped around it, a mix of fear and anticipation gripped him. What would he find when he pulled it out? The moment of truth was at hand, and the unexpected revelation could change not just the night, but everything they thought they knew about each other. Would it lead them to a deeper understanding or throw them back into chaos? With a deep breath, Jack pulled the object from its hiding place. It was a small, ornate box, weathered and delicate, with intricate carvings swirling across its surface. As he held it up to the dim lighting, Jack noticed a faint shimmer emanating from the center, like it was holding some kind of secret. "What is it?" Sarah asked, leaning closer, her curiosity piqued. "I'm not sure," Jack replied, his fingers brushing over the grainy texture. He twisted the box gently, searching for a clasp. With a soft click, the lid popped open. Inside, nestled amidst a bed of soft red velvet, lay an old, silver locket. Its surface was tarnished but still beautiful, glinting as he turned it in the light. For a moment, both of them fell silent, caught in the moment together, each lost in their own thoughts. The noise of the gathering faded into the background, leaving them in a bubble of curiosity and wonder. "Maybe it belongs to someone here," Sarah suggested, her brow furrowed in concern. "It looks important." Jack nodded but remained focused on the locket. "There is something inside," He carefully lifted it out, feeling the chill of the metal against his fingers, and flipped it open. A tiny photograph stared back at him, a smiling woman holding a child, both adorned in winter clothing. Jack's breath caught in his throat. "Do you know her?" Sarah whispered, her voice barely above a breath. Jack couldn't shake the feeling of recognition. "No, but she looks so familiar, doesn't she?" Sarah leaned in closer. "It's eerie. Who do you think it is?" Before he could answer, a call from across the room jolted them back. Greg was gathering people to help with the cleanup, his voice cutting through the moment. "All right, everyone. Let us come together and clear this mess up. We'll need all hands. Let us show this to him," Jack said suddenly, his heart racing with the thought that Greg might know something. He started to get up, but Sarah grabbed his wrist. "Wait, Jack. What if this is something personal? We can't just go showing it around." Her eyes were wide, reflecting her concern. He paused, weighing her words. "You're right, but it feels important. Someone must be missing it. What if it was lost during the last event?" Jack glanced around the room, noticing families slowly resuming conversations, laughter bubbling back up as the initial chaos turned into a shared experience of helping one another. "Okay," Sarah said, determination returning to her voice. "Let us keep it between us for now. We can investigate later after everyone's calm." He nodded, tucking the locket into his pocket as they stood up. The shift in energy reminded him that even in turmoil, connections could be forged. As they moved back toward the cleaning effort, Jack felt a weight off his chest. He caught a glimpse of the little boy again, still hesitant but now watching the gathering with wide eyes, rays of comfort slowly taking the place of fear. Jack felt a flutter of hope. Maybe tonight was about more than just finding a lost toy or fleeing from fear, it was about community. As they maneuvered through the crowd, Jack's pulse quickened with an urge to discover the story behind the locket, yet there was still a sense of unresolved tension mixed with curiosity. "Do you think finding out who this belongs to will change everything?" he asked Sarah, feeling the gravity of their discovery. "Maybe. But maybe it will connect us, help us understand more about each other, and ourselves," she replied thoughtfully, her eyes shining with the lingering holiday spirit. Just then, the little girl, who had been anxiously searching, ran up to them. "Did you find my bunny?" she asked, her voice tiny and quavering. Jack felt his heart swell. "Not yet, but we're working on it." He smiled reassuringly. "We'll find it together just like we're all together tonight." As he looked around, a glimmer caught his eye again from the cleaning area. Another object lay half buried under the mess, and suddenly Jack knew the night wasn't over. The deeper they dug, the more secrets the community might uncover. What if we discover more than just a bunny or a locket? Jack pondered, excitement bubbling in his chest. Could this lead to something bigger than either of them anticipated? With a new sense of purpose filling the air, Jack turned to Sarah, his resolve solid. "Let us see what else we can find." And as they combed through the remnants of chaos, a soft whisper in his ear hinted at discoveries yet to come. Could there truly be a transformation lying just beneath the surface of this holiday night? As Jack and Sarah began sifting through the scattered debris, a sense of anticipation hung in the air. Jack's fingers brushed against the fabric remnants of torn decorations, cotton fluff, and forgotten trinkets. Each discovery felt like peeling back layers of hidden stories within the community. "Look, over here," Sarah called, her voice breaking through the hum of the gathering crowd. Jack turned to her just as she lifted something from the ground, a crumpled old letter, its edges worn and faded. She held it delicately, as if it was a fragile treasure. "What does it say?" Jack asked, leaning in closer. "It's hard to tell," Sarah replied, squinting at the ink. "But I think it's dated, 30 years ago. It must have been lost during another celebration." Jack's heart raced as she began to carefully unfold it. Why would someone throw away something like this? It has to mean something. With a few gentle pulls, Sarah opened the letter fully, revealing elegant cursive writing that flowed across the paper. As she read aloud, the words painted a vivid picture of love, hope, and longing. The letter spoke of a family reunion, plans for the future, and a heartfelt plea for forgiveness. Each sentence stirred something deep within Jack, like echoes from a past he had never known. "Wow," he murmured, feeling the weight of the words. "This is incredible. What if it was written by someone who is at this gathering?" Sarah's eyes widened at the implications. "Imagine if the people in this room have connections to the past, connections we didn't even know about." Just then, Greg's voice boomed again, rallying everyone to finish clearing up. Jack could see the weariness on his face, but there was also a spark and energy that reminded Jack of why they were all here tonight. "Let us show this letter to him," Jack said, excitement bubbling up again. But before he could take a step, Sarah put her hand on his arm, her expression turned serious. "Are you sure, Jack? What if it brings up old wounds? It's not our story to tell." He hesitated, torn between the thrill of discovery and the responsibility it carried. "I just feel like it could mend something in someone's heart, bring them together again. And that's what tonight is all about." As Jack contemplated Sarah's words, he noticed the little boy watching them again. This time, the boy's eyes glistened, his wide gaze was filled with budding hope. Jack glanced at Sarah, wondering if their discoveries could light a path to the little boy's comfort too. "Okay," Sarah finally agreed, her eyes softening. "But let us be careful. We need to approach it with sensitivity." With the letter tucked safely in Sarah's hands, they turned to face the crowd, ready to find Greg. But something caught Jack's attention again. Out of the corner of his eye, he noticed a shimmering object partially buried in the remnants of the decorations. "Wait!" he exclaimed, realizing it was more than just the old fabric. He rushed over, kneeling to dig through the torn pieces with fervor. "Jack, be careful," Sarah warned, but he was already too engrossed in his search. His fingers grazed over a cold metal surface, a compass, gilded with intricate designs, and a glass cover that had dulled with time. As it came into view, he felt a jolt of recognition. Something about the compass felt strangely familiar, like a piece of a larger story. "What do we have here?" Sarah asked, a mix of excitement and curiosity in her voice. Jack's heart beat faster as he turned the compass over in his palm. "I think it's pointing towards something. Something significant." "Like what?" she asked, her eyes sparkling with intrigue. "I don't know yet, but I can't shake this feeling. We need to follow its direction." With the letter still in hand and the compass guiding them, Jack felt like they were on the verge of uncovering something monumental. A connection that could change everything. As they shared a knowing look, Jack knew the night had transformed from a simple cleanup into an adventure filled with potential. "Let us get Greg," Sarah said, determination lighting her features once more. "It's time to explore the magic of what this night holds." And with that, they set forth, each step fueled by the promise of secrets, stories, and perhaps, a reunion that had long been lost to time. What truths lay waiting for them around the corner? The crowd buzzed with laughter and chatter as Jack and Sarah made their way toward Greg. Jack's grip on the compass tightened, electrifying the air around them. Every heartbeat felt like a drum, urging him onward. "Do you see him?" Sarah asked, scanning the colorful sea of faces. "There." Jack pointed. There was Greg, deep in conversation with a group of volunteers, a bright smile illuminating his tired features. It was a smile that spoke of a love for community, but tonight, under the stars, Jack saw something deeper, a flicker of nostalgia, of yearning. "We should wait for a moment when he can hear us," Sarah suggested. They stood off to the side, watching Greg interact with others, a warm charm radiating from him. Jack couldn't shake the feeling that the compass might lead them to more than just a story. It could reignite lost connections within their very community. As they waited, the little boy reappeared, hovering close. Jack noticed that the child's clasped hands trembled with excitement or fear, he couldn't tell which. Jack knelt down so they were eye to eye. "Hey, buddy, what's your name?" he asked, hoping to pull him from his shell. Sam, the boy whispered, glancing toward Greg. Do you think he'll answer me? Who? Jack smiled, realizing the boy was living in this moment, aching with a desire to be heard. Mr. Greg. I wrote him a letter, Sam admitted, his voice barely above a whisper but filled with determination. It's about my dad. He doesn't know I sent it. Jack's heart squeezed. That's brave of you, Sam. Maybe tonight is the night for words to be found. Just then, Greg turned their way, catching Jack's eye. Jack. Sarah. What are you two up to? His tone was lively, luring Jack into the warmth of his enthusiasm. Greg. Jack said, stepping forward, unable to contain his excitement any longer. You won't believe what we found. He gestured toward the letter Sarah was clutching tightly and the compass still in his palm. What did you find? Greg asked, his brow furrowing in genuine curiosity. An old letter, and a compass, Sarah added, glancing back to ensure Sam could hear them. I don't know how to explain it, but we think this compass is leading us to something important. And the letter Jack felt the weight of his words hanging in the air. It speaks of reunion and forgiveness. It feels like the kind of story that could resonate with so many of us here tonight. Greg's attention deepened, and Sam's small form leaned in closer, eyes brightening as he stepped forward. I want to talk to you, Mr. Greg, he said suddenly, his voice strong despite his size. About my letter. Everyone turned their focus to Sam, who stood determined. Greg knelt down beside the boy. You wrote me a letter? What's it about? It's about my dad, Sam said, his voice quaking. I wanted him to come home for Christmas but I think I've lost him. Jack felt the air shift. The whispers of the crowd faded away, leaving only this moment the vulnerability laid bare. Sam, let us look at that letter together, Greg said softly, warmth wrapping around the boy like a blanket. Jack and Sarah exchanged glances, hearts racing at the potential of this moment. There was something significant brewing all around them. Just then, the compass began to tremble gently in his hand, a slight pulse drawing his attention. It's pointing again, he whispered, unable to contain the awe in his voice. It's like it knows. What do you mean? Sarah asked, her eyes wide. I think we need to follow its direction together, Jack replied as he felt a surge of determination. With Sam and Greg beside them, they felt the collective energy of these intertwined stories surging to the surface. But before they could set off, a sudden loud crash interrupted them. Someone from the crowd had tripped over fallen decorations, sending a cascade of shimmering lights sprawling across the ground. As eyes turned toward the commotion, Jack felt a sinking feeling. Had their moment of magic shattered before it even began? Jack, stay close, Sarah urged, her voice filled with concern but also resolve. The night felt electric. Vibrating with possibilities, and Jack knew they were on the brink of something much larger than just a simple adventure. What if the compass could lead them to a truth that would change everything they thought they understood? With a shared breath, they stepped into the mystery ahead, drawn toward the unknown. But the question lingered: would the revelation bring them together or push them apart? The chatter in the crowd shifted to whispers of concern as someone helped the fallen person to their feet. Jack could see Greg tense up, his attention diverted from the heartfelt moment with Sam. The magic they had felt moments before seemed to be hanging precariously, much like the decorations that were now hanging listlessly. Let us not lose this moment, Jack said quietly to Sarah. Sam seemed to be searching Greg's face for reassurance. Can you tell me more about your dad? Greg asked, gently guiding Sam's focus back. What was your letter like? The little boy squared his shoulders, eyes reflecting courage beyond his years. I told him I missed him and that I loved him. I just thought if he knew, he'd want to come home, Sam said, his small voice trembling as if he carried the weight of the world on his fragile shoulders. Jack felt an overwhelming surge of protectiveness for the boy. And what if he doesn't know how much you love him? He asked, aware that this wasn't just Sam's struggle, but a theme that echoed through many families: the fear of losing ties and connections. Greg's eyes sparkled with understanding. Sam, love is a powerful thing. You put your words to paper, and that alone is a great step. You never know, maybe it will find its way to him. The compass pulsed again, urging Jack to take action. We should follow it. I don't think it's just a toy or an old thing. I think it's leading us to something very real, he urged, glancing between Greg, Sarah, and Sam. Yeah. Sam piped up, his excitement momentarily lifting the weight in his heart. We should go. How do we even know where to start? Sarah asked, her voice tinged with apprehension but also hope. Jack pointed towards where the compass was directing, the needle settling firmly. Every heartbeat is leading us in that direction. I say we trust it. Together they began to push through the crowd, and as they did, Greg turned to Sam. Are you ready for this adventure? We might not know where it takes us, but sometimes you have to take a leap of faith. Sam nodded, a newfound determination shining through. I'm ready. Let us find my dad. The four of them moved deeper into the fairground, the bright lights glowing like stars against the night sky, illuminating their path. With each step, Jack could sense the excitement bubbling inside him. This felt like more than just a mission to uncover a story. It was about connection and the courage to seek out what was lost. As they moved, Jack became aware of the way the compass vibrated with energy in his hand, almost like a heartbeat. It was leading them toward a looming archway decorated in twinkling lights, hanging pine boughs, and a sign that read, The Path of Memories. What do you think is down there? Sarah asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Greg shrugged but wore a smile that carried both fear and hope. Only one way to find out. Just as they started toward the archway, the crowd erupted into laughter again. Jack paused, glancing back at the familiar faces gathered around fires, warming their hands and hearts. Yet he couldn't shake the feeling that what lay ahead was deeply personal, a journey that would test not just Sam's hope for his father but their own connections, two connections that had formed over shared moments, loss, love, and ultimately, the longing to understand one another. What lay beyond the archway felt like a culmination of all their stories. As they crossed under it, Jack felt himself hold his breath in anticipation, clinging to the thrill of the unknown. Just then, a shadow flickered at the periphery of his vision, someone standing just out of sight, watching them intently. Who were they? What role would this mysterious figure play in their unfolding story? Wait, Jack said, his heart racing with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. We're not alone. As Jack's voice broke through the chatter of the fair, the swirls of lights around them dimmed, momentarily lost in the weight of his words. The shadow moved with a shiver, its form barely distinguishable in the glow. Sam grasped Greg's hand tightly, feeling the surge of anxious energy in the air. Who is there? Greg called, straining to see beyond the archway's glow. The laughter from the fairground seemed to wash away, leaving only the thudding of Jack's heartbeat echoing in his ears. There was no immediate answer, just a flicker again, a silhouette that danced briefly in the shadows. Jack's instincts kicked in. He took a step forward, willing himself to bridge that gap, to dispel the unease gathering like storm clouds overhead. Show yourself. He shouted, surprising even himself with the authority in his voice. Minutes felt like hours as the four of them stood frozen, hearts pounding with an amalgamation of fear and curiosity. The figure finally stepped into the light, a woman, draped in an old coat that looked like it had seen better days. Her hair was pulled back in a messy bun, and her eyes glistened with a mixture of caution and resignation. Please, don't be afraid, she said, her voice low, trembling slightly as she spoke. I'm not here to harm you. I need to talk. Sam peeked from behind Greg's legs, curiosity bobbing on his little face. Are you here for my dad? He piped up, innocence shining through his fear. The question hung in the air, heavy with hope. The woman's expression softened, confusion flickering across her features. Your dad? She glanced at Jack and the others, as if gauging their intentions. I might have something that he left behind. A piece of him. I just didn't know how to come forward. Jack felt a rush of determination. What do you mean? What piece? Where is he? The compass vibrated fiercely in his hand, almost as if it sensed her presence and urged him to take action. She hesitated, looking at Sam as if torn by her next words. He is searching for something, too. Something he lost long ago, something he thinks he can't find. But the truth, it connects us all, and it's here. What truth? Sarah asked, crossing her arms defensively. Why should we believe you? Because the woman took a deep breath, searching their eyes collectively. Sometimes the things we're looking for are buried deep in our hearts. And sometimes, they need someone brave enough to uncover them. Like your little boy here. Sam's eyes widened with interest as he took a step forward. I'm brave. The woman smiled gently at him, a flicker of warmth igniting in her eyes. Yes, you are. And sometimes being brave means putting your heart on the line, no matter how scared you are. Jack glanced between the woman and his friends, the weight of her words settling in heavy layers. If they could uncover what this woman knew, could it lead them to Sam's dad? The possibility hung tantalizingly close, a glimmer of hope woven into the fabric of uncertainty. Can you show us? Jack asked, stepping closer with renewed urgency. Take us to him. We need to know. As the woman nodded slowly, a nervous excitement flared in the air like fireworks sizzling against the darkened sky. Jack felt the compass pulsate stronger, not just as a guide, but a confirmation of their shared journey. Before they could move forward, a gust of wind swept through the archway, rustling leaves and flickering lights, sending a shiver down their collective spines. Out of the shadows, the mysterious figure crept a bit closer, eyes locking onto Jack's. Are you ready to discover the truth? She whispered, her voice weaving through the air with haunting familiarity. Ready as we'll ever be, Jack replied, his heart racing. With that, the woman turned and began to walk, leading them deeper into the path of memories, each step echoing like a drum beat in the silence. Jack glanced back at Greg, Sarah, and Sam, their eyes full of questions. But one question loomed above all: what truth awaited them in the shadows? As they delved deeper into the unknown, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that whatever lay ahead would change everything forever. The path of memories unfolded before them like the tender pages of a long-forgotten story. Each footfall was echoed by whispers of the past, stirring dormant emotions and buried connections. The air thickened with anticipation, the flickering lights guiding their way like stars in the dark. Jack could feel the energy thrumming in his chest, a rush of purpose, fueled by the hope of reunion. The mysterious woman led them through an archway draped with twinkling fairy lights, each one sparking with the dreams of those who had come before. Jack turned to Sarah, Greg, and little Sam, whose eyes were wide with awe and wonder. We're really on the brink of something, he whispered, almost to himself. As they ventured farther, the woman stopped before a quaint gathering of candles, illuminating a small clearing. This is where it can happen, she said softly, her voice almost a melodic whisper. Here, we can uncover the truths hidden in the darkness. What does that mean? Sam asked innocently, still clinging tightly to Greg's pant leg. It means sharing our truths can lead us back to the people we love, the woman responded gently, her eyes reflecting the warm glow of the candles. She knelt down in front of Sam. Your words have power, young one. You told your dad you missed him, right? Sometimes, that's all it takes. Jack felt a jolt at her words. He had been stuck in a world of possessions and wealth, but the simplicity of connection was what mattered most. As he caught Sarah's eye, he saw hope blossoming in her expression like spring's first flower breaking through the snow. I have this, Sam said, fishing out a crumpled scrap of paper from his pocket. With trembling hands, he unfolded his letter, the trembling of his voice breaking through the stillness. I want him to come home. Emboldened by the warmth radiating from the woman, Sam read aloud, his voice a tender melody weaving through the night. As he shared his heart, a shift occurred, and Jack could feel the air around them buzzing, as if the universe was bending towards their intention. We can write new chapters, Jack said, stepping closer to the gathering circle. Tonight isn't just about a search, it's about reconnecting. We have to honor those gaps in our lives. Exactly. The woman encouraged, her eyes sparkling with pride. The truth isn't always an easy journey, but when you take the brave step, you find understanding. Jack took a deep breath. Sarah, can we? He hesitated, feeling the weight of memories of their past, both beautiful and painful. Can we rebuild? Tears glimmered in Sarah's eyes as she stepped forward, her fingers brushing against Jack's. I'd like that, she replied softly. But we need to acknowledge the hurt first. Jack nodded, understanding the power of that acknowledgement. I haven't been the dad or the husband I should have been. I got lost in chasing dreams that didn't include what really mattered. And I have been keeping my guard up, Sarah confessed, her voice wavering, yet steady. It hurt to see you drift away. I didn't know how to pull you back. Maybe tonight is how we start, Jack said, emboldened. Together. Tension melted away, replaced by something tender yet strong, a fragile hope. The woman smiled, standing again amidst their rekindled energy. Now, what about finding your father, Sam? What do you mean? Can we? Sam's voice was barely above a whisper, eyes wide with wonder. It begins with you, said the woman. Close your eyes, and think of the love you have for him. Visualize it like a bright light shining out into the world. Hesitantly, Sam did as he was told, eyes closing tightly. A few moments of silence followed. Then, the air shifted, the world around them seemingly stirring with unseen energy. As Sam opened his eyes, the light seemed to illuminate a path leading out of the clearing. Look! He exclaimed, pointing ahead. The dim glow revealed a silhouette. It was a man, emerging from the shadows, expression tentative yet familiar. The moment stretched as recognition blossomed in Sam's eyes. Dad? He called, voice shaky yet unwavering. Jack's heart leapt into his throat. The man stepped forward, eyes sweeping over the group before settling on his son. Sammy. In that moment, time stood still. The twinkling lights around them dimmed as everything else faded away. The world closed in, and all that existed was that emotional bridge. Father and son. Sam surged forward, tears of joy spilling down his cheeks. I missed you. The man dropped to one knee, enveloping Sam in a fierce embrace. The connection was electric, pouring years of longing and heartache into that instant. Jack felt tears prick at the corners of his own eyes, watching the reunion unfold. Just hold on tight, the man whispered, his voice thick with emotion. I'm here, buddy. I'm not going anywhere. Sarah wiped away her tears, her heart feeling lighter as she witnessed this poignant moment. Look at that, she murmured, intertwining her fingers with Jack's. They stood together, rooted in a current of vulnerability. Thank you, the woman said quietly, her presence maintaining a gentle weight in the air. Love always finds a way. And as the moment unfolded, surrounded by a halo of love and healing, Jack realized they were indeed on a journey of transformation. Not just for Sam, or for each other. This night offered something greater, a collective healing that had revived a community, reconnected families, and ultimately led them back home. With laughter breaking through, the earlier chaos fading into distant memory, Jack understood that the true spirit of Christmas lay in connection. It was never about the gifts. Let us make new memories, he said aloud, a radiant smile spreading across his face. Together. As laughter and joy filled the space, Jack saw uncertainty drift away. He felt warmth wrap around him, redemption dancing like stars above them. The spirit of the season fluttered, bridging past wounds and future hopes, a true transformation. With every heartbeat, they had embraced something more profound. They had chosen love, and just like that, they stepped forward into the night. Now it's your turn to be part of this incredible journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, comment below your reactions and feelings about this touching ending, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second. True fans understand the heart of community and connection.